Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
So I'm seeing all of these fights get announced in all of these various divisions, middleweight and welterweight, and I keep wondering to myself, where are the UFC lightweights? So today we're going to have a discussion. We're going to have a breakdown. I don't know what you want to call it. We're going to talk about each and every single UFC top lightweight contender, because what are they all doing? And now this includes the champion himself, Ilia Topuria, because he's probably, and you guys know I'm an Ilia Topuria glazer, I'm an Ilia Topuria fan. You know, a lot of you guys that are watching are Ilia Topuria fans. What is this guy doing? What is this kid doing? So first we're going to react to Terrence Crawford yapping about Ilia. I know this guy's a boxer, but it does pertain to the UFC lightweight champion, and we're going to get to Ilia's tweets and blah, blah. Let's just go.
Obviously, we're paying close attention to you and Ilia Topuria, the back and forth, the tweets, and then you walk out to the song that he usually walks out to. You were asked about it. He then responded yesterday via Twitter to you walking out to the song that he usually walks out to. And I know that you were asked about this, but this was his response. First, he calls me drunk. Then he walks out to my song, Crawford, whenever you want, I'll teach you how to dance the mariachi in the ring, and Canelo, I'll save you a round after him. Honestly, you walking out to his song, did you not know that was the song he always walks out to?
To be honest, I never even seen this dude fight. I ain't even gonna lie. You know,
Come on. Like, come on. Oh, no, yeah, it was just a coincidence that I walked out to Canción de Mariachi, which is Ilia Topuria's theme song. And I've also never seen him fight. Now, Ilia is going to refute this claim, and we're going to look at his tweets after this little yap session from Crawford, but Ilia is going to refute the claims, and to be honest, I don't believe this for 1 second, that Terrence Crawford has never seen Ilia Topuria fight. Now, I don't even know how big of a MMA fan or a UFC fan Crawford is, but I find that very hard to believe that he's never seen the guy who is being called the best boxer in the sport, maybe the best boxer in the history of the UFC. I don't know how you've never seen him fight, but I don't know. Let's keep going.
I'm not worried about that guy at all. You know, it's crazy how things work. I didn't even know who he was when he seen me at the UFC. He came up and shook my hand, saying, "What's up?" to me. I didn't even know who he was. But then I see him online talking about he'd knock me out in the first round and this and that and this. Well, if you want to fight me, you had the opportunity to tell me, like, hey man, I want to fight you. What's up? Like, that's fate. If I don't like somebody, if I want to fight them for whatever reason, I would have been like, hey, what's up, man? What you think about me and you fighting? I'm not gonna go hide behind, the keyboard and things like that, and then be like, oh, I knocked this dude out, this and that and this. I think that's fake.
Okay, so I'm going to cut the yap session off here, and we're going to expand upon this. This whole thing is just retarded, right? Like, the idea that Terrence Crawford, and he says he's not worried about him, but then he talks about it for 4 minutes, so I'm not going to, I don't believe that, I don't know who this guy is, I'm not worried about him, but I'll talk about him for 4 minutes. But, nonetheless, the idea that our top champion, one of our top stars, Ilia Topuria, is currently trying to really make a fight between him and Terrence Crawford happen, while there are a slew of lightweight contenders just waiting. I would much rather at this point just see Ilia versus Arman, Ilia versus Gaethje even, Ilia Paddy even. Fuck, I'll take Ilia Gamrot. I just want to see this guy fight, bro. I'll take Ilia versus Fiziev. I'll take Ilia Charles too. I'll take Ilia Holloway. I'll take Ilia versus fucking JDM, Makachev, fucking Kamaru Usman, fucking Pantoja for all I care. I just want to see this guy fight. But I want to see him fight in an octagon. I don't want to see this guy fight in a boxing ring where Turki Al-Sheikh's fat fucking face is in the front row, where Dana's looking all grumpy. I don't want to see that. I want to see you fight in the octagon. You fight once a year. You knock people out and you fight once a year. What the fuck, man? I love Ilia. I'm a massive Ilia fan. You guys know this. But it's like, where is this guy? What are you doing, man? You're yapping on Twitter talking about you're going to fight Terrence Crawford. For what? For what? You just won your second belt. Defend it. Let's keep reacting, and we'll kind of expand upon this more.
What money would I get out of fighting him? Tell me how much I'm going to get out of fighting him.
Well, I know Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was here. He's here. Like I said, I don't know this guy. I never seen this guy fight.
So he's not talking about skill wise, by the way. Like a lot of people say, oh, he's better than Conor skill wise. I would agree. I mean, Prime Conor was fucking spectacular, and I think Conor's recent antics in recent years have kind of allowed people to forget how amazing Conor really is and really was. Not is, but was in his prime. So people say, oh, Conor was really never that good. Like, yeah, he was phenomenal, bro, especially at featherweight. With that being said, I understand what he's saying. He's saying Conor was leagues above Ilia, definitely at his peak in terms of popularity. And I would agree with that. I don't think Ilia is on Conor's level, especially if Ilia decides to fight once a fucking year. You're definitely not going to reach Conor's level. Like, why does Ilia think he's just going to get a Crawford fight right now? Why? Why does he not think, let me just try to knock some people out? Let me try to knock out, like, oh my God, let's keep going.
And I watch a lot of MMA, you know what I mean? Maybe, I'm slipping. Maybe he's a good fighter, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I honestly never seen this guy fight.
He's lying. Like, he says, this is a lie. Like, this is a blatant lie. He just admitted he watches a lot of MMA, but he's never heard of Ilia Topuria. That's a blatant lie. I don't care what anybody tries to say. No, well, to be fair, that's a blatant lie. If you watch a lot of MMA, like you just admitted, and you've never seen Ilia Topuria, then you're a blatant liar, especially if you're a boxing guy. If you're a boxing guy, that's the first guy you're going to want to check out. Then it's like JDM, of course, and Alex Pereira and shit. So unless this guy's a super casual, I don't really know how he's never heard of Ilia Topuria. My dad is a very casual MMA fan, and he loves Ilia Topuria. He's a fan of Ilia Topuria. And my dad doesn't even know who JDM is. Papa BXG doesn't even know who JDM is until I had to show him JDM highlights. So my dad's a super casual, and he knows who Ilia is. Of course, that's my own situation. But I'm just saying, like, Ilia's the guy right now, I would say, in terms of star power. So if you don't know who he is, then, I mean, who the fuck does Crawford know? Okay, so the rest of the vid is just pretty much him yapping and whatever, right? But I wanted to react to... So I think this is where... Yo, that boomed on Ilia. I think... Pause. I think this is where it started. Like, this is the first, like, post that I saw Ilia put out. Who wins in a fight? September 6th, he put this out. Again, like, what is he doing, right? Like, why is he trying to garner a fight between Terrence Crawford? I mean, to be honest, actually, in this picture, there's not that much of a height discrepancy or like a size difference. But then again, Ilia is out of camp, right? And then, of course, we could scroll up here. He's yapping a lot. I won't talk about what would happen between me and Crawford in an octagon. I'll talk about what would happen in a ring. I'll put him to sleep in the first contact. Like, that's just like... Again, what's the point of this? He's not like calling out Arman Sarukian. He's not calling out Justin Gaethje. Now, I did see a clip of him saying recently that, they're in talks for his next fight, and that's cool. But, like, then I also read something that he's not going to fight in 2025. So he's not going to fight until next year. So, again, that would mean that Ilia Topuria has only fought one time this year. His fight lasted 3 minutes where he took 0 damage. And now this guy's sitting on Twitter calling out Terrence Crawford because he's like, I don't understand. This guy's only like 27. He's not 35. He's not 40. He's not even 30. And he's trying to push for a Terrence Crawford fight so young into his career. For what? I would understand why, for the money. But like, if you've already got one foot out this much, then can I even pick this guy to be a top contender? And I understand Ilia is known as the guy that talks smack. I know this. He said, I would never fight Arman Sarukian. That's BS. He'd fight Arman Sarukian. Or he said, I wouldn't fight this guy or that guy. Like, he talks smack. He's a rage baiter. But this is annoying, man. What are you doing? Who is this for? Who wants to see Ilia Topuria, 5'5" Ilia, get slept by Crawford? Because that's what would happen. At least Mayweather and McGregor was like, there's some delusion. Like, ooh, well, Mayweather, he was like retired, I think. And McGregor was at his peak of popularity and he was like in his prime. So there was some interest. Then you would look at McGregor beat up like Paulie Malignaggi in sparring and he looked pretty good training. And you're like, there was delusion there. There was at least believable delusion that a UFC fighter can walk into the sport of boxing and be a top boxer. But now it's just like, bro, you're going to beat Terrence Crawford, a guy who's on a GOAT run right now. What are you talking about? Or Canelo, even though Canelo is, some would say, washed, he still destroys Ilia Topuria. What are we talking about here? It's just, it's so ridiculous that like this is what we're doing with our time. This is what a guy who's on a GOAT run, a guy who is, many people are saying, could end up being the GOAT of the sport. This is what he's doing with his time. It's just like, instead of fighting, he's not going to fight for the rest of the year, apparently. He says, you say you're an MMA fan, but don't even know who I am. Interesting. The first time we met, you told me good luck this week with your fight. Your memory fails you. So, yeah, I do believe that Crawford was capping, right? He knows who Ilia is. And soon your chin will, too. I'll represent the entire MMA community. Pound for pound number one in real fights versus the pound for pound boxer. But you're not going to, you're not going to beat him in a boxing match. Even if pound for pound Ilia is the most dangerous guy in the world, even if you want to say that. Really, it's Tom Aspinall, realistically, right? But even if you want to say that, you're not talking about fighting him in the octagon. You want to go to his sport where he's elite at. That's silly. Again, I'm not going to fight Armin right now. I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm just going to sit on my butt and wait. And I get it. We're going to get to those other guys too, like Armin and Patty. We're going to get to them. But it's just like, oh my goodness, man. What are you supposed to do? Ilia, you're making us look bad, man. You're making us look bad. And then finally, his latest tweet, we can scroll down where he's, this is just, let's react.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Have you seen Topuria?
So he says, yeah. I mean, anyways, let's move on to Armin Tsarukyan. So then you got Armin Tsarukyan, who is apparently going to fight Benson Henderson, a old man Benson Henderson. Well, he's going to not fight him. It's going to be a BJJ match. I just don't even understand, like, what are we doing here? This guy, again, he's just like Ilia. I mean, he's the evil Ilia, right? But they're both evil at this point. But he's, like, doing the same thing. He's doing all this talking. He's calling out Ilia. He's calling out this guy. I haven't seen this guy fight since UFC 300. UFC 300 was last year, early last year. I think it was like summer or spring of last year. Since that, like, Pereira has fought like 5 times. Charles is about to fight for his 3rd time, I believe. Charles Oliveira, a guy who realistically could just retire tomorrow. But Armin Tsarukyan, a guy who's in the prime of his career, a guy who a lot of people are saying is he's the real lightweight champion, the real lightweight contender, the scariest, the boogeyman, and all this BS. And what is he doing with his time? Grappling. He's grappling Benson Henderson. For what? Oh, but I got to stay active. Why don't you stay active in the octagon? And don't say, oh, they haven't offered him fights. Because they offered him Gamrot. One of his only losses on his record. He could have got that loss back. He didn't want to because Gamrot wasn't high enough ranked for him. You missed weight. I've already ranted about Armin Tsarukyan about 10 times this year, but, like, you understand my point. It's just like, what are we doing here? I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler apparently are in a homosexual relationship now. Like, this is just insane. They're, like, on the golf course. I guess this is their way of announcing their relation. I don't know. This is kind of absurd to me that this has happened. I don't really know. Maybe Chandler's just had enough of, seeing his kids. No, but seriously, you have Justin Gaethje who, and this is like a few months ago, but he says he might retire if he doesn't get the next title shot. Again, I've already spoken about these things, but I just wanted to group them into one video because what are we doing here? This has got to be one of the worst divisions. No, this is the worst division on the planet right now in any sport. The UFC lightweight division is garbage. At least finally at heavyweight, we're getting movement. At least. There's top contenders facing each other. At light heavyweight, you got like Mirzakhanov facing Rakic, I believe. You got Yuri facing Roundtree. You have Alex facing Ankalaev. You have like the contenders are fighting each other. At heavyweight, you have Volkov facing Almeida. The contenders are fighting each other. That's a number one contenders fight seemingly, right? At welterweight, you get my point. Well, welterweight, you don't really have like, where's Ian Gary? Where's Sean Brady? I've been waiting for those two. So even welterweight that's a bit of an issue too, but at least other guys are fighting. At least Protest is fighting and Edwards is fighting. Even Leon Edwards is being more active than these guys. Leon Edwards. It's like, what are we doing here, man? Literally, while I was editing this vid, I forgot about this guy. That's how irrelevant this guy has become. But Dan Hooker, he's another name, another UFC lightweight that is just complaining constantly. The amount of blood, sweat, and tears I've poured into putting shows on for that company, I thought there would have been a bit more respect there, but there's not, which is cool. Business is business. We can fight on my terms then. I'm not going to break my back for a company that doesn't respect me. You hear this? We can fight on my terms, and we can fight on my terms then. This guy has not been active. This guy, I understand he's been dealing with an injury, but he seems to be in shape. I've seen a video of him hitting pads like back in August. So it's just like another example, another lightweight that just refuses to fight. According to his own words, he doesn't want to fight. He's going to fight on his terms. He's not going to break his back for the UFC. And this is due to like him getting his tickets canceled for like International Fight Week because he didn't show up for a meet and greet, and so they canceled his like 317 tickets, which is kind of his fault. That's a whole separate thing. I spoke about that in a video like a few months ago, but you know, I don't know. I just think like another lightweight. I forgot about this guy, so I had to include him as well. And finally, I'm not really seeing a lot of people speak on this, but apparently Paddy Pimblett has been arrested.
All right. Beating me up. Beating me up. Lad.
You know, Paddy Pimblett, right? In all seriousness, like, what is he doing? He's not even fighting. You know, he's talking about, this was a few months ago, oh, I don't really want to fight Arman. It's not really a big name for me. It's like, oh, I just roll my eyes, man. I don't know what else to say. And of course, like Max Holloway is another name, but he's injured and he did just have a bit of a war, so I'm not really going to crap on him. All of the guys in this video took like very minimal damage in their last fights. Like Gaethje had a bit of a war, but not like, he wasn't like bloodied and he didn't have like a black eye and a broken, nothing. You know, Paddy Pimblett barely took damage. Arman, his last fight was like 2 years ago almost. Ilia took 0 damage in his last fight. What are these guys doing other than just sitting on their millions, which people want to say UFC fighters are underpaid, but I think the UFC lightweight division proves that false. So I don't know what else to say. The UFC lightweight division is terrible, and featherweight is better, and featherweight fighters, at this point, Diego Lopez probably beats every lightweight contender because featherweights have been mogging lightweights lately as well. That's a whole separate thing, but like Ilia, Max Holloway. So lightweights, get your shit together, man. So see you guys, and like and comment and share and sub and become a member down below in the description. Thank you guys. God bless you guys. Peace.